Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I saw some Muslim here, so I have to greet in Islamic way. Right, my name is Abdullah. I was invited by British Council to share with you something. The title of my talk today is Big Data in the Future Workforce. I try to convince you that big data is a must that you must study. Okay, this is in the table of content, that things that I'm going to talk today. First, I would like to introduce to you what is data science, because without understanding this, it's very, very difficult for you to understand the rest. What is the data and characteristics? And next, we will discuss about where the big data come from, and then what process involved, applications of big data, future and ecosystem, job opportunity, and lastly, salary. This is the thing that I'm going to talk today. Okay, first, let me. So we know bit, right? Data is a plural for your information. Data is a plural of datum. So we have 1 bit, then we have 8 bit. 8 bit constitutes 1 byte. So we know kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, okay, terabyte, peta, exa, zeta, and iota. So until now, I think you know that we recently I think Malaysian heard the word trillions, right? Don't laugh. This is trillions. So trillion is equal to tera. Tera. Can you imagine how many? Okay, tera is 4 times 1,000. 1,000 times 1,000 times 1,000. Sorry, 1,000 4 times. Just the amounts of tera. So look at here at this slide as well. You can see that so much data has been generated nowadays. So much data has been generated nowadays. So to those who are wise, they can manipulate, they can make use whatever data has been generated in term and turn it into a money values. Next, please. Now, this is another slide that I want to show you the size of big data nowadays. Google process 20 PB, petabyte. Petabyte. You see that? 1 terabyte. Facebook 2.5 peta, and plus 15 terabyte a day. So eBay 6.5 peta, and also CERN 15 petabyte a year. Can I say something about CERN? You know, CERN is a European labs, nuclear labs in Geneva. Every day they are conducting experiments about atoms. So can you imagine they are producing 15 peta a year. Every single day they are producing 1 terabyte of data. That data need to be processed not by the scientists but by the computer scientists. Next, please. Okay, what is big data? Not only big, but you have to look at all the characteristics. The first 3 important. The rest is not really important. The first 3, volume, velocity, and variety. So when people talk about big data, you have to remember 3V. The rest, you can forget about it. Some people say, oh, they 5 or 6 V's, doesn't matter. Just concentrate on 3. Number 1, volume, the size of data. The size of data must be very big. When we are talking big, this is up to 1 terabyte of size of data. Velocity, the speed of changes. For example, like your Facebook. Every single minute, every single second, right, the data has been generated. So how fast the data will be generated? That's the meaning of speed of changes. And variety, different types of data. So nowadays, we are focusing on unstructured data. Not like a normal one, what we call it structured data. I hope that you can understand this. In the big data, we are focusing on unstructured data. Next, please. So this is number one, the first characteristics, volume, the size. You see that? From 2009 to 2020, there are 44 times increase of data size. From 0.8 to 35 zeta byte. I know that just now zeta is very, very big number, right? So this is the scenario, the scenario, the size of data has been generated nowadays. Next, please. Number two, variety. Various format, type, and structure. Text, numerical, images, audio, video, sequence, time series, and so and so and so. Even now, for example, people use YouTube, right? Whatever they have, they just simply post into YouTube. And people, you can imagine the size of data has been generated daily. Very, very big. Next. Velocity. Just now, velocity meaning the speed of changes of data. So the data will be increased over the periods very fast. This is another example, right? You can see that e-promotion based on your current location, your purchase history, and so and so. Then people can send promotions to the customers. Healthcare monitoring, sensor monitoring your activities and body. This is what we are doing today. Even if you are using what's called it the watch that you can detect your movement, right? Okay, next please. Just this one, just curiosity. I'm not really concerned about this. Next please. Okay, now this is the reality. You can see that every single day we are involved with social media and network. When you are involved with social media and network, meaning that your data will be generated. And every single day, we get Facebook, we have Twitter, YouTube, and so on. So many social media that we use that can generate data. This data will be used by somebody. I repeat, this data will be used by somebody, inverted comma. So, next, scientific instruments, like just now I mentioned the CERN in Geneva. Mobile devices, mobile devices, that the phone that you have, and also sensors technology. Sensors technology including RFID. For example, if you go to the toll that you need to scan your smart tag, right? So they are using RFID, radio frequency identification. Okay, device. So all these things generate data daily. So once they have generate data, of course they need to process it. Next, please. So these are the technology you in processing the data. I am saying big data. So we have all these things, right? These are the technologies. And for example, before we can process this, we must have the platform. Now very popular. I mean, it depends on whether you want to pay or not, but it's free, open source one. We call it OpenStack platform. So OpenStack platform allow you to process all these things. Okay. Now these are cases, applications of big data nowadays. You can see New York Times, Facebook, Twitter, all these things generate data. You can see what size of data they put. For example, New York Times, Amazon instances 4 terabyte raw data every day, 11 million PDF in 24 hours. Can you imagine that size? For example, everybody just simply upload video to YouTube. So you must start thinking, who are paying the storage of YouTube? Because once you pay, when you upload, it's free, right? So someone has paying that. Facebook, of course, Facebook is used for marketing purposes as well. Twitter, next please. Yahoo, Microsoft, Amazon, all these are platforms that been used big data. Okay. Next, please. Now, before this, the models, we use model, for example, few company generating data, few company, and then others are consuming it. But nowadays, all of us generating data, all of us, because we got sensors, we got RFID, we got my mobile phone, we got social media. So every single of us generating data. So this is the model now. Next, please. So when we have data, I said just now we must carry out analysis. Without analysis, the data is useless. Without analysis, the data is useless. That's why, in order to process the data, that's why Lali will be talking about data science. So data science will be used to process all the big data. Okay. Then once you have data, when you process, you must present the result, the output, so that people can understand your data. Okay. Since you are a counselor, these are the things that you must understand. In order to be able to process data, you must have these sets of skills. Number one, data management. Okay, data management, including data storage, data collection, cleaning, filtering, integrations. All these are the skills needed. And number two, large-scale parallel data processing. So they call it parallel computing. These are the skills. Statistics and machine learning. So and then interface and data visualization. I would like to bring your attention to the statistics and machine learning. These are the fundamental. When we want to analyze data, these are the fundamental skills needed. Otherwise, you cannot process the data. So when you want to advise your potential students, make sure they are taking this. Otherwise, no use. Next, please. Let me share with you. This is the real scenario in Malaysia nowadays. You can see that by 2020, at least 20% of Malaysian GDP will be digitized, with the growth in every industry driven by digitally enhanced offerings, operation, and relation. This is by report by IDC 2018. So this is reality. This is why we have to prepare our students toward this. Next, please. This is another ecosystem that I would like to share with you. You see, there are many levels. Number one, data creations, data acquisitions, information processing, and business processes. All label, they require people. They require people to do the job. So when you advise students, make sure that they can go in any level here. Any levels here. Okay. Now, 65% of children in school today will end up working in completely new job type that don't yet exist. Yeah. Before this, when we talk about computer science, people talk about programmer, people talk about system analyst, but now no more. Okay. For example, if you become a data scientist, it's the most lucrative job. The most. In Malaysia, not many, and as far as I know, not many data scientists in Malaysia nowadays, not many. When you are holding data scientists, you are talking about 120,000 per month, not a year, per month. So this is the area that you can advise your students. Next, please. Now, global demand for data scientists, 50%, okay? This the US, but for Malaysia, we need 20,000 by 2020. Okay, guys, let me tell you the real story. I come from university. That number will be impossible to be achieved. This is the government's directions. By 2020, we should have 20,000 data scientists. How many universities in Malaysia are offering these programs? Not many. How many can produce a year? Not many. How many more years that we will reach 2020? Okay. So, so this is the thing, right? If you can encourage your potential student to take up these kinds of programs, it will be very good. I mean that the job will be guaranteed once they graduate. And the most important thing is if they cannot find a job in Malaysia, they can always go to overseas. For example, in US, you look at in US, how many? Still 200,000 jobs unfulfilled. So when you talk about opportunity, this is the opportunity. Next, please. Now you can see that all these area, right? Intelligence, web application, every singles they are involved with big data. So you don't have to worry about your potential. I mean, you can advise your student not to worry about the potential of getting a job. The risk is very minimum. All right. So look at here, every single. Okay. Now this is the most important slide that you must pay attention. Okay, we have different sector: finance, government, telecom, manufacturing, energy, and healthcare. Every single sector, they are when the big data expert are needed. Every single sector. You see that? How many type of job will be created? Okay, guys. And this is another job type that can be created in future. They call it analytic team lead, advanced analytic modeler, and blah 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 blah. All these things are a type of job will be created in future. And when I said future, more than 2 years. Maybe now we cannot get that. We are still new. And lastly, I would like to mention in Malaysia, the government has launched what they call it Big Data Initiative, BDA, Big Data Analytic Initiative, mean that it become a government policy. So whether it's a new government or old government, they are still there. Okay. Then next please. Then I want to salary. This is US one, but let me tell you in Malaysia. In Malaysia, once you graduate, with first degree, you can expect around 4 to 5,000 per month. After 3 years, you can expect around 7 to 9. After 5 years, you can expect around 15 to 20. Once you become data scientist, you are talking different regions. I had one student. This is true story. He was offered by YTL as a data scientist. He got 17,000. YTL pay him 17,000. And then he said, "Oh, not enough. It's too small." And then he went to US. 17,000 just graduate, not enough. Can you imagine? Next, please. Okay, this is my conclusion because I'm given not long, 45 minutes, but I don't want to drag this session. Big data is a real one. It's not hype. Whether you want to go along with it or not, it's up to you. But I can guarantee you is coming to Malaysia. It's coming to Malaysia. Nowadays, even, for example, we are talking about government agencies like income tax. They are using all the data from social media to trace those who are trying to avoid from paying their tax. So every single sector, they are using big data nowadays to generate more values or money. And lastly, I would like to emphasize, you must advise your student to take up this. I think in UK there are many universities they are offering data science or big data, many. And I can remember one of them in Exeter, because the professor in Exeter is a very prominent professor in big data in the world. Exeter, Professor Maria. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.